Hi guys, this is Keith here again from the Upper Tier podcast, and I'm here again with another John Cena's underrated matches this time for this week. Now, as I said to you before, this is a countdown of, and a build-up really, of basically John Cena's last ever match for December 13th in Saturday night's main event. Now, for this one, I'm going to be doing the most underrated matches, his most underrated matches. Now, I have a good few that I think his underrated matches are. Now, I would love for you to send a comment down below if you have any yourself, and I would love to have a discussion with you about it. It'd be an interesting chat about his underrated matches. But this week, for number 5, I have is John Cena versus HBK rivalry and his matches as well. So basically, we all know HBK can wrestle with a broomstick, and he's so good in the ring. He's probably the best in-ring worker of all time. Nobody can really match him for anything, unless the closest one probably is AJ Styles to me. That's not far off him. But yeah, for John Cena and HBK, they had some stellar matches. Like, I remember they had John Cena versus HBK. I think it was WrestleMania 23. That was a really, really good match. And for the two of them, this is back when John Cena was at his peak, and HBK was still at his peak, but he was coming towards the end as well. He was still in the sweet spot there, but he could still put on some great, great matches. And those two gelled very, very well in the ring, I thought. And they had a really stellar match at WrestleMania 23. And if you haven't seen that, I would highly recommend you to watch it. It's a really, really good match. Stellar match, honestly. And then number 4 then I have down is CM Punk versus John Cena. Now, this isn't going to be the one from Money in the Bank. This one is going to be the one from Raw, and whoever wins was the number 1 contender to face The Rock at WrestleMania, which, to be honest, I think that was the once in a lifetime John Cena and The Rock one. I have to look back on that again for memory's sake. I think it is, because I remember they wrestled twice, but I can't remember if it was the first one or if it was the second one. This one was when Punk versus John Cena match happened for being the number 1 contender. But again, I would highly recommend you to watch it on Monday Night Raw. It was a stellar match, like a really, really, really good match. And those two never fail. Really and truly, those two never failed again. They had amazing chemistry together, CM Punk and John Cena. It's just a pity for the last match that they had that it wasn't at SummerSlam, because I thought it would have been a bit more fitting if it was at SummerSlam compared to being at a Saudi pay-per-view. Well, look, nothing wrong with being at a Saudi pay-per-view. I just think for the magnitude of those two guys, that, those two had a stellar career, the two of them, like two future Hall of Famers. And they had such a good rivalry that I just thought it would have been more fitting if it was at SummerSlam, but nothing taken away from everything that they've done, and especially the last match as well. Those two deserve all the praise, and definitely, like I said, deserve to go into the Hall of Fame, the two of them. Now, I think they should have one of their matches being put into the Hall of Fame as well, but that's a different discussion for a different day. But yeah, I have that as number 4. It was a great, great match from what I remember. And yeah, it kind of cemented a big, big chatting point about John Cena and The Rock, because it was a first time ever type of feel with the two of them from like two different generations, 2 different eras, where The Rock came from the Attitude Era, and John Cena comes from the Ruthless Aggression / PG era, So very, very interesting topic to chat about if you want to have a chat about it in the comment section. Now, I'll just have to check again. Number 3 then I have down is John Cena versus JBL. And that was in a Night Quit match in Judgment Day 2005. Now, for me, I thought that was a really, really good, underrated match. JBL was such a fantastic heel back in his day. This was towards the end of his career now, JBL, but he still had some stellar matches, and he was such a good heel. He knew how to play to the crowd, and he knew how to ponder the crowd and all. And don't forget, he was one of the longest reigning WWE champions in SmackDown's history too. So just a little fun fact, just in case you didn't know that. But yeah, those two were great. Like John had really good matches as well. A lot of people back then, a lot of the old guard, just knew how to work with John Cena, and JBL was one of them. He was a stellar pro, obviously Hall of Famer. But yeah, he knew, and the match itself was great with the I Quit match. They don't do an awful lot of them anymore, unfortunately. I would love to see a few more I Quit matches because I quite enjoyed them, But again, have a look at that, see what you think, and yeah, it's a really, really good underrated match. And then the second one I have is Punk again, but this time it's Punk versus John Cena, Money in the Bank, 2011. This one is probably should be, because they're starting to do Hall of Fame matches now, being put into the WWE Hall of Fame. This should be one of them, because the backstory to it, there's a lot of backstory to it, which was basically Punk wanting to leave WWE. His contract was running down, and at the end of it all, Punk won, and then he eventually went off with a WWE title. There's a different video to that now that I put in with that match, so you can have a look at that anyways if you browse through it. But this one, it was a really, really historic match between the two, and obviously Punk won at the end with the WWE title, because the two of them had two of the WWE titles, but Punk being the WWE champion and also John Cena being a WWE champion, so they're trying to unify the title together and just being the ultimate champion then at the end, but stellar storyline. Like, it was such a good storyline, and the two just work so well as they do. Like, and it's easily John Cena's one of the best rivalries with CM Punk, probably top three. But that's for a different discussion for a different day, because I might have a video coming out with that one in the future. Just a little teaser just to say it to you. But yeah, number one then I have is John Cena versus Edge TLC match, Unforgiven 2006. Now, these two, Edge, again, another great heel, back when he was the rated R superstar, and he was with Lita at this point. Now, as far as I remember, it was back in December. I think it was New Year, Dismember, I think it was called. I think that's when he won, or that's when he had the Money in the Bank, and then he stole the WWE title. Well, he actually cashed it in. Didn't really steal it, but he cashed it in and won it against John Cena. But those two had a really, really good build-up for storytelling, and story-wise was just amazing, those two together. I used to love watching them back in the day in the mid-2000s. Like I said, if you've never watched them, I would highly recommend you to watch it on Netflix, or if you're able to watch it online somewhere. These two had just a stellar storyline together. It's a pity, though, that we won't get to see Edge come back and face John Cena for one of his last matches in his retirement tour. Who knows? There might be a surprise. We don't know. He could come back still. Who knows? Because apparently his contract's supposed to be coming up soon. But it's a very big if and maybe. But I hope he does, because those two have a really, really, great rivalry together. And for me, that's why I picked the number one. The TLC match was a very underrated match, the two of them. I won't give anything away, just in case you want to see it and you want to see the outcome of it, but it was a really, really good match, and that's why I have that as my number one. But I have a few more videos coming out for you in the next couple of weeks, leading up to his final goodbye for John Cena. But for this one, like, share, and subscribe if you can, folks. And send me a comment if you have anything else that you think is a bit of an underrated match. But I look forward to hearing from you anyways. Talk to you soon.